Hello friends, this is Mudassar from Phone Here, and as usual I'm here with another phone for the camera test. This time it is Xiaomi's Redmi Note 9s, which is a member of Xiaomi's Redmi Note 9 series. Redmi Note 8 Pro proved its camera prowess and I was quite satisfied with its performance, and now let's see how Note 9s turns out. Friends, if you are on my channel for the first time, kindly subscribe to it and press the bell icon for getting the latest videos on mobile phone cameras and battery tests. Redmi Note 9s offers quite a capable camera that features 4 lenses on its backside, with 48 megapixel main camera taking the lead and then further supported by an 8 megapixel ultrawide lens, a 5 megapixel macro sensor and a 2 megapixel depth sensor for the bokeh effects. On the front side, there is a 16 megapixel lens for the selfie placed right in the middle inside a punch hole. The onboard camera app is typical Xiaomi's that displays every mode at the bottom bar, including the 48 megapixel mode. The day performance of Redmi Note 9s is quite promising, and it is a worthy successor to the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 8 series that proved its might for both day and night images. The standard mode takes 12 megapixel shots that look vibrant in the daylight, the colors come out crisp, and the amount of detail is impressive. This photo is taken from quite a distance, but you can see the building and other objects have maintained most of the detail. Even the trees and the leaves aren't looking unnatural like we usually come across in the smartphone images. The cars in the parking areas can be easily recognized, and the pattern in the mid part of the building is quite noticeable. The blades of the grass are also maintaining their look except for some washed out patches in the extreme parts of the image. The HDR mode is a big help. It refines the images, it maintains the same level of details but increases the exposure and the saturation a little. Also, the noise that was earlier more prominent is no more there, and overall the image looks quite catchy. The AI mode acts similarly to the HDR mode, where it suppresses the grains and boosts the image overall, making it sharper and rich with details. The 48 megapixel photo doesn't show any variation in colors and contrast, and I believe Redmi Note 9s is using similar internal processing for both the modes. The difference is the size and amount of details in both the images, which are better in 48 megapixel mode. Here, these bricks on the shades are more prominent in 48 megapixel mode than the standard 12MP mode. These darker areas are difficult to capture by any phone since they are difficult places. In short, the 48MP mode shows exactly what the 12MP shows, but in a bigger size. This phone can zoom as high as 10x, and I am amazed to see it maintains the quality of the image within the limit of acceptability. At 2x I didn't see any major distraction in the image. Everything looked closer and very acceptable apart from the obvious noise, which is less disturbing as compared to 12MP 1x image. Even the 6x zoom shot looked tremendous on the phone screen until you put them on a bigger screen with actual image size to note the loss of detail. Beyond this point, the images are softer and have fewer details. One thing I noticed is that at 2x and beyond, the exposure value is higher than 1x photos, but it doesn't look bad. The wide angle mode can take some decent shots. Not as detailed as the usual one, but much better than what Galaxy A51 did when we tested it. Here also the exposure is on the higher side, but it is not at all disturbing. Have a look at the images. Night result with the standard mode isn't very encouraging, though not bad either. Look at this photo, which is giving us not much due to the extremely low light, but with 48MP mode, you can get more visible areas on the right and left part of the building. The 48MP seems to have taken a little more time with shutter, thus gathering more light that reflects in more visible areas. But even the 48MP doesn't do justice with the static subject in extremely low light. It is not at all the best option for the night pictures. Redmi Note 9s has the dedicated night mode that works quite well. Look at this image where the visible areas are much better looking now. On smaller screen it looks very well exposed and carry punchy colors. The unwanted noise seems to have suppressed, but the softer image compromises a little on the detail. Even if the subject is getting good light, the standard mode, AI and 48MP don't do a great job while dealing with the light source. Once again, the night mode or the HDR mode are best modes for getting a nicely exposed and well detailed picture. Look at this image, the standard mode takes a good shot, but the night mode further refines the details and colors and correct those areas which were overexposed earlier. Bokeh shots are taken with portrait mode and they come out very good for all type of subjects. The subject mapping and edge detection are impressive for the static subject, but it creates some minor issues with human portraits that I will try to show later in the video. The 12MP shots are richer in detail and give true color without boosting the saturation. And similarly, macro shots are very impressive. They are more vibrant than bokeh images. The amount of detail is reasonable, but I tell you, more interesting mode is the macro video mode this time. You can really create some amazing videos. The only issue I came across was the continuous focus if your hand holding the phone is moving. It sometimes produces jerks and disturbs the smoothness, which I believe Xiaomi would fix in its updates. But you can really end up getting some amazing close-up videos of tiny subjects. Have a look at these sample videos. The good thing about the selfies and portraits by Redmi Note 9s is that it does not overexpose the background. Everything looks nice and clear. The skin tones look very natural. Both photo and portrait modes beautify the faces and make the skin tones a little more polished, which sometimes removes the important details. But these pictures are very much required for the social media, so everything looks very punchy, good and acceptable. As I said earlier, I noticed a little issue with the edge mapping while creating bokeh, but this is not a serious issue as it is only noticeable on bigger screens. Here you can see the edges are a little merged with the background. Redmi Note 9s has a powerful Pro mode that allows using the 48MP full lens as well. For the first timer, it could be a little complex to comprehend all the manual tools, but those who have prior knowledge about shutter speed, ISO exposure value, and white balance can bring out their creative being for creating a little drama in your images. You can also switch between wide, ultra-wide and macro lenses depending upon the situation. Xiaomi has also loaded the Pro mode with 2 manual options to figure out and fix the over and under exposure and the focus. It highlights areas in blue and red where exposure value is not rightly fixed. Although the mode performs better than what rival Android phone maker offers, but it still falls short of dealing with the midday sunlight. It still doesn't help to bring down exposure to a level where equivalent slow shutter speed could create a nice blur for moving objects under harsh light. Take a look at some of the images the Pro mode can create. This phone can shoot 1080p videos at 30 and 60 frames per second and 720p videos at 30 frames per second. It can also record 4K videos at 30 frames per second, but the stabilization is available at 1080p and 720p at 30 frames per second only. It doesn't allow switching between lenses while recording videos. We saw this feature recently in Oppo Reno 3 Pro and Vivo V90, which is quite handy in many situations. Slow motion videos are in trend and they are always amazing to watch. The front cam can make 720p slow-mo videos at 120 frames per second, whereas the rear camera can shoot slow-mo videos at 120, 240 and 960 frames per second. So friends, this is the camera test of Xiaomi Redmi Note S from my side. If you have anything to say, please do reach the comment area. If you like this video, please like it and share it and subscribe to my channel as it means a lot. Please don't forget to press the bell icon. Until my next video, Allah Hafiz.